Hello, I'm ABX Toycat, and welcome back to Q&A Saturday. Q&A Saturday is a weekly series I run on my channel where I answer your questions about a variety of subjects, usually centered around the next update coming out for Minecraft on the consoles. All of these questions about that next update, which we're currently calling TU46 or TU47 by the way, come in from the comment section of either last week's Q&A or they come in from Twitter, because I left a tweet saying if you have any questions for Q&A Saturday, ask them right here. So if you have any questions about the update or just about life in general, you don't feel this update Q&A asked, you can ask them in the comments down below, or you can follow me on Twitter, and every now and then I'll send a tweet like that out. So with that said, hope you do enjoy this week's Q&A. If you do like it, like and let me know, because it helps out the channel a lot and lets know you do like the Q&A Saturday. But with that said, let's get straight into it, shall we? And let's start with the very first question, which comes in from Mega vs Prime MC, who says, at IBX Toycat, hashtag llamas, the best hashtag by the way, why have you stopped uploading at 4 PM GMT? So yeah, you might recall that my schedule for the longest time, maybe like past a year and a half or something, has been one video at 4 PM, one video at 9 PM in the UK, and you can probably work that out in your own local time. But I have recently switched away from doing the 4 PM video, and the reason for that is kind of twofold. The first one is that there's a Hearthstone YouTuber I watch that just uploads 2 videos. I think it's at 9 PM, I don't know what the exact time is, and it's always just like, ooh, 2 videos, and it's all of a sudden like you can pick one, and I really like that kind of aspect of like, watch the one you want to watch first, and then watch the second one if you have time. I really like that, even if it means necessarily less views. I think it's a better experience for you, the viewer, so I'm trying to upload them closer together. And the second one is that I realize now, having been on, like several hours back time zone, just how like that early video can be for some parts of the world. So I think I'm going to try, at least for the next like week or two, uploading both videos either at 9 PM UK time or like close together, so like 8:30 and 9 or 9:30 and 9, something like that, UK time, so they're really close together, and I'm going to see how people react to it. Do people like it? That's a good thing. Do people think, I'd rather have some spacing so I can digest the previous Toycat video, because, I speak so fast that you need to spend a solid hour digesting it? I don't know, I'd have to read how people think about it, but that's what we'll be doing for the next week or two, so let me know what you think of the test, either in the comments of this video, or just any video, or tweet me, or just don't say anything. But with that said, let's move on to the next question, which comes in from Rick24689, who I can assume likes Five Nights at Freddy's from that avatar, but they say, at ABX Toycat, do you think the combat update will come by the end of the year? I know it's a tradition, but it's cutting close. Well, yeah, that's the thing. So I only have the same information you guys have, assuming you've watched all my videos, but I really do assume this is one of those things where they don't internally know, or they do know, but they're keeping it a secret, because the thing is, you've got to bear in mind, even if they finished all the features today, they've got to, optimize them so the last-gen consoles can run them. They've got to go through, all the testing, all that stuff, and then they've got to get it through QA just before, Christmas, so like early December, like, December, first week December, which is only a couple of weeks away now. So, yeah, do I think there's an update coming out at the end of the year? I'm really not sure at this point. I feel like they wouldn't have hinted it if they didn't think it was possible, and they weren't, at least trying for it, but I really have no idea if they think they're going to do it, or if they're like, oh yeah, let's back off that, and I guess we're going to find out by the end of the year. I think if it does come out, it'll be almost a surprise, like we'll be like, oh yeah, there's an update coming out tomorrow, guys, and yeah, I guess we'll have to just wait and see. A part of me says it's more likely than not, but I don't want to get anyone else's hopes up. I would just say, personally, I assume it is, but again, it's not 100% sure. I would like to see it, and I think that'd be great. So that's the answer to your question. I think there will be one, but I don't know if they necessarily know themselves if there will be one. So let's move to the next question from the Blazing James, who is a... I like these avatars today, by the way, but they say, IBX Toycat, what kind of stuff do you have left to get, or want to get for your new house? Any cool gadgets or random stuff? So if you follow me on Twitter, you might have seen that earlier this week I installed some smart light bulbs. So they're like light bulbs that you can connect up to your phone and change the color. There's lots of cool stuff you can do with them, but the coolest stuff is like, you can make it so when it rains outside, the light bulbs will change color to let you know it's raining. You can set it so when you get an email from a particular person, your light bulbs will flash to you. There's lots of weird stuff you can do that I kind of just wanted to play around with, because they save energy at the same time, so I figured it's an investment. But yeah, besides smart light bulbs, which and a few other weird appliances, which again, it's one of those things, but like it's an investment into like having cool stuff that actually lasts longer. So I'm like, yeah, this is just about worthwhile. And one of those things that I've actually been thinking about a little bit more, and that I bought as soon as I read this comic, so I was like, oh, I need to do that, is smart fire alarms. So they're sold by a company called Nest, you might know them, and basically you can have a fire alarm that you can like silence with your phone, and that will like speak to you and say, oh, there is a fire in the living room, there is a fire in the kitchen, before it actually starts beeping at you, which I think is good. Like, I'd like to know that information before it starts beeping. So yeah, smart fire alarm is the next idea. I'm gonna have to buy it and then set that up at some point soon, and I guess I'd show you it, but I don't know how you test a fire alarm without setting a fire in your own house. So yeah, cool gadgets, probably smart fire alarm is the next one. I've also got like a couple of cameras that I have to get, because honestly, I think home security, like how many people do you know that have been burgled? I don't know any. Have you ever been burgled yourself? I've never been it, but I figure, let's get some cameras just in case. So that's also another thing, and there's a bunch of security stuff like that. That's like, yeah, let's lock this place down. So yeah, let's move to the next question already, shall we? Which comes in from XX Chronic XX, who says, at IBX Toycat, Toycat, hashtag Q&A. Do you think they will add some 1.11 stuff like shulker boxes? So, do I think there'll be 1.11 stuff in the next update for Minecraft console? And the answer to this is probably not, almost certainly not, because again, that update only just came out like a few days ago, and they're at almost at the end of this development cycle, at least presumably if they're releasing it this year. And I think the only feature that has any possibility is the shulker box, because it kind of comes with the shulker. Like, you introduce the shulker, why not introduce the shulker shells at the same time, so you can have the shulker box put in there. So, yeah, I think the shulker box is like a tiny possibility. I'd say the rest of it, like llamas, wooden mansions, probably not coming in this update, but again, we've been surprised before. I just don't imagine this time, because again, we know so little, and I think that's deliberate this time, that it's hard to really say anything with 100% certainty, and I hope you guys don't hate me for that. But if you want, I can make random statements, but I'd rather not. So let's move to the next question, which comes in from Classical Gamer HD. Oh wow, they're in high definition, and they say hashtag Q&A. Hey, as Toycat, let's not comment on the hey. But I'm getting a PS4 for Christmas. What free games do you think I should get? No Minecraft, because I have that on my PS3. So yeah, this person is asking what games they should get with a PS4. I'm assuming they're getting it as a gift or something like that. So yeah, if you're gonna get free games with it, first of all, I'd say get Minecraft on it, because one, at some point, you're going to want to, get rid of your PS3. Might as well have it on the PS4. Two, Minecraft is a very slightly better game on the PS4. It's got a bigger world. It's got, which is cool enough by itself. It runs a little bit better, and you can transfer your existing PS3 world. So Minecraft's going to be number one, even though you say no Minecraft, because I don't care about your rules. And then number two, I'd say if you haven't already played Skyrim last gen, I'd say get the special edition, because even though it's overpriced for a remaster, if you haven't played the game yet, it's got hundreds of hours of entertainment in there. So Skyrim, if you want to get like a lot of value from a game, and if you just want another random out there game, I'd say like either Infinite Warfare, because the zombies part is kind of fun for me, or if you don't like FPS in that particular way, I'd say Dishonored, because Dishonored is a really cool like puzzle stealth strategy game. I like, not puzzle, but it's a stealth strategy game or whatever, and I've been enjoying it a lot. So yeah, Dishonored 2, Skyrim Special Edition, and Minecraft, because I don't care about your rules. So with that said, let's move on to the next question, which comes in from Christopher. I assume is it maybe just Christopher, who says, at IBX Slaycat, will the end cities have a border like the overworld? So, yeah, the answer to this is almost certainly, like, some people think that the end cities can be infinite. I don't think that's going to be possible on console, but the thing is, I can't tell you for sure how the end cities are going to work, because they're one of the question marks on this update. Like, I can tell you, yep, Elytras, they're going to work like the PC, because that's what they try to go for. They try to make things work like the PC, unless, either one, they make them better, like they did with the end fight, or a few other things, or sometimes they have to downgrade them, like the world sizes and stuff like that, because there are limits on the console and what it can do, and one of those is going to be the way the end works. So there's a few ways they could do the end city. They could have it in a separate direction. They could just make the end a lot bigger. I don't know what they're going to do, but I know it can't be infinite. I imagine that's not going to be a situation, because they couldn't do the overworld as infinite because of world size limitations, so it'd be the exact same problem with the end city. So yeah, I have no idea how big the end city will be. I have no idea where the border will be. I just know there probably will be one somewhere, and I'm looking forward to find this out. That's one of the big questions about this update that we'll find out when it comes out. So yeah, I'm kind of excited, but I can't truly answer your question besides saying yes. Which is, I mean, yeah, again, I'd bet a lot of money on there being a border. In fact, I'd bet all the money on that. So with that said, let's move to the next question, which comes in from the Mech Treehouse. Interesting. Who says, I don't like how United States people are called Americans. America is two continents. So, yeah, this is, this is like a common misconception / a real conception thing, because I read out a whole bunch on this, because it always seemed weird to me as a kid that, like, yeah, there's two Americas, North America and South America, but yet you call America just one tiny country in North America. However, as I understand it, the only place where this is really an issue is Spanish, where, they actually call the Americas America, like they call that entire like double continent thing America. In English, you call it North America and South America. Like, have you ever heard anyone refer to both Americas as America? You probably don't. So yeah, America is kind of just the colloquial term for the United States of America, and North America and South America are separate continents. Think of it like this way: the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland is usually just called the UK, right, or the United Kingdom. But that's not really a good name, because there's lots of kingdoms in the world. I think Denmark is a kingdom. There's so many kingdoms around, which doesn't. I mean, they're not even owned by kings anymore. But yeah, the point, there's so many kingdoms around that calling it just the kingdom doesn't make sense. But because it's known as the kingdom, or in this case, it's known as the America, it kind of makes sense that way. And the reason this is possible, again, I got a big bit into linguistics a while back, is because basically, English is actually I think it's a prescriptive language. So if you just say something enough, if you get enough people to believe that word is a word, it becomes a word. You can't just, if I just say the word lamatastic, so Lamatastic, llama, and then tastic from fantastic. If I say that word enough, it's not a word right now, so I'm just speaking illogical stuff. But if enough people think it's a word, and enough people say it as a word, it then becomes a word. It's the same way that selfie is actually a real word, even though people just came up with it to say self-facing camera. And it's a really interesting thing about English, actually. So yeah, America is actually just one country because people say it is one country, which is, it's confusing, but that's the way it is. So, hate to break it to you, but unless you're from the Spanish world, you have nothing to complain about. And if you are, then I guess I'm sorry for having a bad language. So, with that said, let's move on to the next question from David Savoy, who says, "Hi Toycat, when TU46 comes out, what are you going to do in your Let's Play world? Love your videos." So thank you very much, David Savoy, for that. But yeah, what am I going to do to my Let's Play world after TU46? I'd like to find a way to get to the end. I know it's going to be tricky, but I think if I expand my world to large, somewhere in there's going to be a stronghold. So I think just before it comes out, I'm going to do all the searching I need for the stronghold. I'm going to make the stuff I need. And yeah, I'd really, really like to go to the end, but I don't know how possible that is. So yeah, failing that, I think I lose out on a lot of this update, but I'll do some cool stuff like, you know, work on some new enchantments. And again, there's a few ideas I have, but the big one is go to the end, go to the end, go to the end, David Savoy. So with that said, let's move to the next question, which comes in from Retro Robert, who says, "You mentioned you went to see the ice hockey in Belfast. What did you think of the subway cannon?" This person clearly must go there as well, or at least know where the subway cannons are in the world. But yeah, okay, so here's the thing about the subway cannon. It's a cool idea, and I love ice hockey just because it's such a wacky sport. Like, guess what? We're going to stop them again just to play some music and then make some noises. Again, I love hockey as a spectator sport, but the subway cannon seems a bit illogical to me because, don't get me wrong, I love firing through from a cannon. If it was like, you know, fire some Burger King or some McDonald's or Five Guys, you know, fire anything from a cannon. But Subway is one of those places that's like, it's about your choice. So it makes me question, like, surely you're defeating that choice if you have to, like, pick it up from the sky. It's the same as if, like, you found someone's food they left on the table and you're like, "You eating that?" And they're like, "No," and you just eat their Subway instead. And it's like, but then you're not going to be able to pick your own flavour and stuff. And I have to imagine they have an interest in only picking the cheap Subways to put in the Subway cannon, because, you know, like, people who get free Subway from the air probably aren't complaining. So I like the idea, I think, but if I ever got a Subway, I'd probably be disappointed with it. So yeah, Subway cannon, bad idea, but I like it anyway, I think is the easiest way to describe that one. So let's move into the final question, shall we, which comes in from Lava Thief, who is someone you might recognise from other live streams, comments, stuff like that. But yeah, they say, at IBXToycat, hashtag R&B, which I assume is a play on Q&A, or maybe they just really like that genre. But how was Canada? So, to put this simply, Canada was really good. I really did quite like Canada for a whole bunch of reasons. I think I just like North America as a continent, because there's a bunch of stuff that, like, you hear about on the internet that's only really found there, which is bizarre, but it's something I really quite like. So yeah, Canada was really cool, not only for that reason, and, you know, just the stuff, there's lots of stuff there. Toronto was a really loved place. Niagara Falls was one of the most amazing things to see. The thing that I found really bizarre about Toronto in particular is the fact that, like, okay, so on the first day, I didn't have mobile internet, so I couldn't use maps properly. So I was just like, okay, I know there's, I think I was looking for a Tim Hortons on the first night, so I was like, I gotta try that, right? So I was just like, okay, there's one over there, let's go there. So I ended up, like, getting vaguely lost and ending up, like, in this underground tunnel system, and as it turns out, there is just, it's called the Path. There's this giant system of, like, tunnels between all the buildings in downtown, so you can just be like, well, yep, there's that building's 30 minutes away, like, you know, you live 30 minutes away from your work, you can walk there and not get cold, which is amazing, and there's shops, like, lining the entirety of this corridor too, and I just thought that was so amazing. And yeah, the path system is probably the best bit about Canada, but Canada was lovely in general, and I'd love to revisit at some point, like maybe go to the west coast, the west coast, like with Vancouver and stuff, but it's just so far away, and I think, like, I'm taking a break from flying for a bit, so yeah, I think it'd be nice to do it at some point, maybe next year, maybe at some point in the future, but yeah, thank you to everyone who was so nice and giving me, like, advice and tips about Canada, because it seems I have a lot of Canadian subscribers, which is pretty cool. Anyway, hope you did all enjoy this week's Q&A Saturday. I hope you learned something about something, or you had some question answered, or maybe you didn't have any of those things and you're just here yelling at your screen going, you're not llama-tastic at all, Toycat. But yeah, I hope you did all enjoy the video regardless. Like the if you did like it, share if you liked it, and subscribe if you're new around here, because I make videos like this one every single day on my channel, and if you subscribe, you'll see them daily on your homepage. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.